Hi, I'm Evan Thomason with This Week in Santa Clarita, and today we're going to start a series of close-up looks at the city and county's joint general plan process called One Valley, One Vision. And today we are being joined with Director of Community Development for the City of Santa Clarita, Paul Brotzman. Paul, thank you for joining us, and why don't we jump right in? And I know we're going to have a lot of conversations about this. Why don't we start off with what is a general plan?
A general plan is actually a series of policy documents that guide how cities and counties plan for services and the delivery of service and development as we move into the future. So the plan looks at everything from land use issues to public safety issues, seismic, earthquake, emergency preparedness, park and recreation, open space preservation, transportation and circulation. And it makes sure that the policies and the decisions that we make in any one of those areas is consistent with the policies and decisions that we make in the other areas.
So a general plan is essentially a framework for every component that goes into the city. There's a lot of synergy, I guess, that happens, and we're trying to ensure that it protects the quality of life for the residents.
As an area develops, you need to make sure that you're protecting and preserving open space, you're protecting existing residential neighborhoods. You need to make sure that if housing development happens in one place or a new office development happens in another place, that the circulation patterns work, that the street networks are there in place to meet the needs of those developments. You need to make sure that you can deliver the public safety that needs to be delivered. You need to make sure you're not building on an earthquake fault. A general plan covers all of that.
And now we are one valley, and of course the city is part of that, and LA County comprises the sections that are unincorporated around the boundaries. Why is it so important for us to do this in concert with the County of Los Angeles?
We are one distinct valley, and in many respects we want to keep ourselves as a distinct valley, not part of that major growth that's occurring in Southern California overall. But we're also a city that's surrounded by the county. This planning area is about 480 square miles, half of which is in the National Forest, which is great because it preserves the open space. But the remainder is areas that may develop. And of that 250 square miles that may develop, 50 square miles are in the city, 200 square miles are in the unincorporated area. And anything that happens outside the city impacts what happens inside the city, whether it's traffic that flows from the county to the city, or sewer or water demands, or so on. So it's really critical that the city and the county come up with a plan that works, that's integrated, so that we're not creating hardships or any deterioration in the quality of existing residential neighborhoods.
One of the words that you hear sometimes with this is a tremendous opportunity to plan the whole valley right to begin with. Everybody on the same page, and this can really send us down the right path for the foreseeable future.
That's correct. And by the way, we do have an existing general plan. Both the city and the county have existing general plans that guide the development that's taking place. Times and circumstances change. As we have dramatic increases in energy costs, it affects the way people live, work, commute. As we have demographic changes, as the population ages, it changes the need for housing types and the demand for housing types. So the general plan is really designed to address that, and the update in the general plan is intended to accommodate those changes. And in fact, in some respects, we're required to do this. The state is mandating that we look at the issue of the effects of energy conservation, the effects of development, and the effects that it has on the environment. We're required to change our planning in order to reduce the impact that development, that the use of the automobile, the emissions, the hydrocarbons have on the environment.
As they say, the only constant is change, so it makes sense that we would have sort of a living, breathing document that we work with from year to year or decade to decade, so that makes a lot of sense. Can you talk about how important the public input, and talk a little bit about what the public input has meant to this whole planning process?
And that is a real important issue. And it's kind of a two-way street. It's partly the city and the county communicating what we need to do, and it's partly the city and the county listening to the community, hearing what the community concerns are. What are the issues that are out there, and how do they affect the quality of life in this valley? And to that end, we have had numerous community meetings, the Valley Congress, many stakeholder meetings. There have been dozens and dozens of meetings, and literally thousands of people who have participated in this planning process. And we've tried to take all of that input and consolidate it into this planning process.
This is a multifaceted project, and we're going to be talking a lot about what One Valley, One Vision is. Why don't you talk about some of the misconceptions and what One Valley, One Vision is not?
Well, sure. One of the issues, I've seen this in the headlines, that the One Valley, One Vision plans for 500,000 new people in the Santa Clarita Valley. And so there's a perception that we're planning and encouraging growth and development. That's really not what it's about. In fact, the existing general plan says that this valley will accommodate almost 500,000 residents. Under One Valley, One Vision, we're relooking at that. And in fact, in the end, the planning requirements in One Valley, One Vision may well reduce the number of residential units and long-term the number of residents that may live in the Santa Clarita Valley when compared to that which could happen under the existing general plan.
And when we rank, I think, what residents what their biggest concern is throughout the valley. Some of it might be, traffic. Some of it might be density. Some of it might be open space. But really, I think the common denominator is everybody wants to maintain a high quality of life. And really, that's what One Valley, One Vision is attempting to ensure through our future. We're going to have more of these conversations with Paul and some of the other planners in the upcoming weeks. So stay tuned to This Week in Santa Clarita and find out a little bit more about One Valley, One Vision.